All right, welcome to it. It is the Steve Gruber Show, live from Washington, D.C. I really want to thank John Solomon for letting us be here today. He is always accommodating and always terrific and always lets us use this big, beautiful studio of his where people like Charlie Kirk and Jack Posobiec also broadcast when they're in the neighborhood. That's a great facility. John Solomon, one of the best. By the way, you can check out justthenews.com. Now, having said that, speaking of news, all right, so going to the White House yesterday, look, in order to go and get on the ground, you have to have an invitation to begin with, or a hard pass. A hard pass means you're there every day. It means you're there all the time, right? In this particular case, I have a guest pass, so we're invited in by the communications team to sit down and talk to all these different people that we spoke with yesterday. And, you know, Paula White will be up here in just a moment. You're going to want to hear this interview. You're going to want to hear the people we talked to, like Harrison Field and all the rest. So you're walking around the Eisenhower Executive Office building and you get confused and, you know, you don't know quite which one to go to or what entrance to go to, right? So I got directed down to one entrance on 17th Avenue and I 17th Northwest, and I go down there. And I walk up. I'm the one guy in line in front of me, and then there's me. One guy there, and then me. And it's pretty obvious right as soon as you get there. This guy is arguing with the Secret Service officer that's right in front of him. And you're like, well, what's he arguing about? And suddenly you say here, I am the president. I am the sovereign president of these United States. You work for me, and if you don't let me in, you'll be fired. And the Secret Service guys, I got to be honest, he's really patient. He keeps giving this guy's warning. Well, finally it doesn't work out. Naturally, I do what all red-blooded Americans do. I took out my cell phone and I started recording, and I recorded the entire thing. And I want you to see. It's about a minute and a half. Go ahead. Here it is.
We're not going to lay hands on you. Will immediately be fired. You do realize you cannot arrest me.
Yes, they can.
No, you cannot. I am senior president.
Let's get out of here.
I will not leave off my property.
This is not your property.
This is my property. I'm the rightful owner of WTF country.
You have any idea?
USA of WTF country.
Let's go.
Federal government badge 0. I will not be leaving. You will not touch me or you will be fired.
17.
Federal government badge
At
0. Senior
SB2A,
President
can you
Wade
have
Tyler
someone
Farney.
respond down to SB2A?
Get
Hold
the head
the
of your,
phone.
get the head of the person here.
I'm head of everyone.
Okay, yeah, same here. I'm the highest authority.
No, you're not.
So I'll let other people here.
Let's go. We got people with real appointments coming in, people that actually work here.
Yes, and I'm a federal government employee. I just disclosed my badge. Federal government badge.
Let's go.
Do not lay hands on me. You will be fired.
You're
I'm a federal government employee. I'm
No, you're
Senior
not.
President Wade Tyler Farney. Yes, I am. Thank you for recording.
Oh, he's recording on my benefit, not
My
yours.
benefit. My benefit.
No.
I'm WTF Wade Tyler Farney, Senior President. I am permitted on this property.
No, you're not.
I have this. I have the highest clearance level.
This is going to be your third warning. Get out of the way
I
or you
will
go
not.
to
This
jail.
is my private property, and I will not be touched. You will
You ready?
immediately. Do not touch me. I will fire you. Do not touch me.
You're
I am
incommoding.
Senior President Wade Tyler Farney, Federal Government badge 0.
We need to go right now.
No. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. You're all three fired. You're all three fired.
You're all three fired. I am the ultimate authority. Sir, you're not the ultimate authority. But look, how much patience and grace, though. I talked to that one officer afterwards, and he did thank me for recording that just for their own protection. You know how these things get twisted. Almost 750,000 people have seen that. If you want to see it again, you can find it on my Facebook page or my X account. It's right there. Lots of people seeing it. Lots of people talking about it. Oh, something else that came up yesterday, by the way, that I'd like you to comment on. I'm at this hotel, nice hotel, that Ivy set up for me, not too far from all the action, just a short Uber ride away from the White House and so forth. Although I walked yesterday, that's how close it was, about a 15-minute walk to get to the White House before I encountered that whole scene. So I go to dinner in the hotel last night. They have a decent restaurant, very nice, in fact. It's got open air. I'm outside. It's very nice. People walking by rush hour time because I'm off the air at 4 o'clock, so it's probably 5:30 in the afternoon anyhow. Have a couple of appetizers and a cocktail, and I sit there and I enjoy it. And the bill comes. And I don't want you to weigh in on this. I want you to tell me what you think about this. The bill comes, and I glance at it, And there's a 20% service charge on there. It's not on the menu. It doesn't anywhere on the menu say you're going to get a 20% on. I'm a table of one, right? I see this happen now more often where they say if you have a table of 6 or 8 or 10, whatever it is, they have a threshold at a lot of these nicer restaurants, and they say if you have more than this number of people, then you're going to be charged a gratuity of 20%. Well, this is not a gratuity. It's a service charge. And here's what's worse about it. You have the bill, the 20% service charge is added to that, and then they charge sales tax on top of that. So they tax their own service charge, which drives my bill even higher. So I said to my waiter, very nice guy, I said, hey, what is this? He goes, yeah, that's DC for you. It's a new service charge, the law, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's bizarre. And the manager, this woman, who I'm going to guess is probably not playing for my political team, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. She said, what's the problem? I said, well, a 20% service charge. Well, yeah, because we need to do this and this and this. I said, and you're okay with it? Oh, absolutely. It's the law. So what? It's asinine and ludicrous. You have a 20% service charge on your entire bill. I didn't see this. I was at another restaurant the night before. I didn't see a service charge there, right? I didn't see a service charge there. And yet this place has this 20% service charge, and apparently everybody's okay with it. It's like, just jack the price up so they can squander more money in the nation's capital, make sure the roads aren't fixed and the police are underfunded and everything else. And because you see plenty of homeless, by the way, in D.C. and other problems. But it was just like, well, what do you think about this? Every place you go now, the screen pops up. Oh, you want a tip? No, I don't want a tip. I mean, there's a place, and it shall remain nameless, where Ivy and I go on occasion. It's we make your own salad deal, right? And you put in your credit card, and you go. They weigh it, and they do your thing, and they come down, flip it around. And the cheapest gratuity is 20, 30, 40. It's like no, and no again. Why would I give you a tip for self-service? That's like tipping my gas pump. I just filled my gas tank. Does the gas pump want a tip? I mean, come on. Yeah, this is just, it's out of control. More taxes and tipping and everything else. To me, it's absolutely out of control. So, the guy at the gate was out of control, very entertaining. If you want to see that again, you can go to my Twitter feed and do that. And if you want to have more about tipping and so forth, let me know about that. If you want to learn about America for free and be the smartest person in the room next time you go out, go to gruberforhillsdale.com. 40 free courses about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, C.S. Lewis, and where we are with religion in America, the foundational principles of Christianity in America, can all be found at gruberforhillsdale.com. That's gruberforhillsdale.com. These programs are fantastic. You're going to love them. I promise you that. And they're free. And I want you to support the people that support us here. Just go take a look. You're going to be fascinated by what you find. Share it with your kids, your grandkids, the guy down the street, your grumpy neighbor, that liberal lady over the fence. Just say, hey, gruberforhillsdale.com, free courses on the Constitution. Have fun. I'll be right back. to it now as we continue the conversation here. Closing in on 100 days we are. I think it's next week. I'm not sure. Harrison Field's with me, though, from the press office. Is it 100 days next week?
The 29th.
All right, so reflecting. You're a young man here in Washington, a lot going on, a lot of success, some challenges with the economy, but what sticks out to you over the first 100 days? What comes to mind when you look? I mean, there's a lot going on, but what comes to mind?
Well, I think the most refreshing thing about these first 100 days is that you have a president of the United States that promised something on the campaign trail and actually delivering on those promises at a record speed. I think even for the left, I mean, I was watching Morning Joe a couple weeks ago, and they said, you can't.
Right?
I know. Yeah, I try to get my heart rate up in the morning just so I can last the rest of the day.
I understand.
But they said, you got to give him credit. He's doing everything he said he would do.
Right.
And I think the American people appreciate that. And when you look at the economy, what's hitting people right now is actually great things about the economy. Gas prices are down 40, 50, 60 cents. When you go to the grocery store under President Trump, it's looking a lot better than when you were going to the grocery store under President Biden. Bring that on top of tax cuts that are coming very soon, these tariffs that are actually emboldening a lot of our American industry. Look at people in Detroit. They're very happy about what's going on. This is why the governor was here celebrating what the president did.
I had some people on the program just the past couple of days. The tariffs, because they were already American-made products, they're getting their phones ringing all the time. Yeah. Oh, hey, can we onshore to you? Can we onshore to you? A lot of things going on. I look at what's happening with the border. We just had some people in here, had Mike Fields in here, and Mike Banks, excuse me.
Yeah, I was going to say there's another Fields in the building.
Yeah, Mike Banks, pardon me.
You're
and look, it's exactly what Donald Trump said he was going to do. But here's the problem that we're facing out there that's got to be frustrating. It's all this lawfare that's going on. Yeah. It's these courts that are staying in the way. District court judges, more than 600 of them, apparently all think that they're more important than 77.5 million Americans that voted for Donald Trump and these policies. Yeah. I mean, something has to happen here.
Yeah, the constitutional crisis is really in the judiciary. It's nowhere to be found in the executive branch. We have these judges, activist judges, that are working on behalf of the DNC and not for the Constitution. It's absolutely wild that we're dealing with this. I think you're going to see the Supreme Court step in sooner rather than later and say, what's going on here has to stop. You're prohibiting the executive branch to function in the capacity in which the United States Constitution allows. That is a constitutional crisis.
The concern, though, is, well, two things come to mind. John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. And on some days, Gorsuch, and some days, Kavanaugh. People don't have a lot of faith in the Supreme Court. It's called a conservative court, but I'd say it's more like a 3-3-3 court. So, yeah, we're hopeful, but I don't think it's a lock by any means.
Yeah, well, the president's hopeful. He has tremendous respect and regard for the people that he nominated to the bench. He values the Supreme Court. I mean, if you just look back at what Joe Biden did, he completely ignored the Supreme Court when it came to the student loan debacle. So we're respecting every court ruling. If we have to fight it, we'll fight it. Obviously, the Supreme Court is the final say. But we're making sure that we fight these lawsuits left and right because the American people voted for this. Yeah. And we truly believe we have sound law on our side.
You have more than 600 district court judges out there that, in effect, as I've talked about on this program ad nauseum, are basically, those are local judges. You have a district. This is your area. You don't get to issue injunctions for the entire country, but that's being allowed to go on. But Chuck Schumer said, they put in hundreds of judges around this country before Joe Biden left office for this express purpose, and that is to roadblock, to handicap Donald Trump's efforts to get these things done.
Yeah, and this is why elections have consequences, and the Senate is so important, right? This is why we have a majority in the Senate. They are going to push through every single judge that the president wants, and we are going to make up on lost ground. President Trump held the historic number of judges through appointment than any other president. And unfortunately, Joe Biden did come in, and he planted a bunch of these crazy judges that are willing to do nationwide injunctions outside of their district. It's something that we've never seen before.
Well, it would never have been tolerated in the establishment of this country. Right. Nobody would have ever allowed, the union would have never come together had that been the fact.
You're right. And the thing about it is these Democratic judges were nowhere to be seen when Obama was the deporter-in-chief. When he was deporting people left and right, where were these liberal judges? They were absent.
Can you imagine a federal district judge coming along and saying, Mr. President, that Emancipation Proclamation you signed, we're going to put an injunction on that across the country. I mean, put it into context. That way people go, Well, that wouldn't have been okay.
No.
Well, then why is it okay now?
Yeah, it's insane. They don't have a reason. It's Trump derangement syndrome on steroids. It has hit the judiciary branch, which is crazy to think. In 2025, this is where we're at. Well, we are moving full steam ahead. Listen, they can't stop everything we do. And we have better lawyers, I always say that. And the American people are in full support of what we're doing. They can't stop us on trade. They can't stop us on tax cuts. They will try, but it's bad policy for the Democrats to object to every single thing that the president is doing because the American people support him.
Yeah, young people.
Yeah.
In numbers we've not seen before. People in your age bracket.
Yeah.
I want to look at the one big, beautiful bill before I run out of time here, Harrison, and that is the big bill, the big reconciliation package. We're getting closer. Donald Trump wanted it on Memorial Day. It's about a month out now, just over. Where are we?
Well, they're on recess right now because of Easter, but
Well,
they
I
will
know
be
that,
back. They'll be back very soon, and we've got a mandate through Leader Thune and Speaker Johnson. They want to make this work, not just for their own their colleagues on the House and the Senate, but for the president and for the American people. The president is actively in these negotiations. They know, both chambers know exactly what needs to happen for this bill. We're looking at historic things: bringing back Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, cutting taxes on Social Security, Medicare, Social Security, overtime, and forgetting the last one, tips. Who could forget tips? And on top of deregulation, on top of securing the border, and we're looking at a bunch of other things. I mean, there's accreditation and things that we can do with schools that we're looking at. So the bill it's a blank canvas right now. We have the budget, we have the parameters of how this is going to work, and it's going to be very successful.
They're checking the box office to move forward.
Yeah.
I think that the American people realize what you just said. He's doing what he said he was going to do when he ran for president. The Democrats are freaking out because he's doing what he said he was going to do. Are you optimistic?
Very optimistic. Being here every single day from day one at noon, this White House is committed to doing what the American people elected us to do. We are doing everything that they want us to do. If you look at the border, if you look at the economy, if you look at these foreign peace, we are trying to end wars. We're not starting wars. We are doing what the president said.
Sunrise in the nation's capital. It's been a spectacular couple of days here. Like I told you, be back here, in May for a week. Very excited about that. I'll be back here for a week. I get a chance to interact with all the folks in the press office. We'll have a hard pass at that point to make my way around the White House campus, if you will. Looking forward to that. And looking forward to having more interaction with this White House as we go forward. And, look, we know a lot of people here. I just found out a friend of mine, Kaylin Dorr, is Deputy Press Secretary. Didn't even realize that. I need to talk to Pete Hoekstra. He's now the ambassador to Canada. I'm sure he's busy, but we'll get him on the program sometime soon as well. Now, did you know that scammers can literally steal your home right out from under you? It's true, They can steal your home right out from under you. The FBI calls it house stealing. It's a growing real estate scam targeting American homeowners. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document. Use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee, and file it with your local recorder's office. And just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take the loans using your equity as collateral, even sell the property behind your back. And the worst part is you don't even know it until you start getting collection notices, foreclosure notices, and all the nasty grams in your mailbox. So let me ask you, when was the last time you checked your home's title? If you're like me, the answer is never. That's exactly what scammers are counting on. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. Their $1 million triple lock protection helps keep your home and equity safe. Here's what you get: immediate 24/7 monitoring of your property, urgent alerts if there are any changes, and if fraud should happen, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title at no cost to you. Here's the best part: I've teamed up with Home Title Lock to give you a free title history report so you can find out if you're already a victim and access to your personal title expert. It's a $250 value just for signing up. Go to HometitleLock.com. Use the promo code Gruber, Gruber. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code Gruber. Get the protection and peace of mind you deserve. Paula White is straight ahead here. You don't want to miss her. She's been the pastor to the president for just about 25 years. She knows him well, and she is transforming the White House faith office as well. It's a great conversation. It's coming up straight ahead right here on The Steve Gruber Show. All right, a lot of conversations about faith this week as we have a reemergence of Easter, for example, at the White House compared to what we saw over the last 4 years. Joining me now is Paula White, Senior Advisor and the Director of the White House Faith Office. I mean, you are President Donald Trump's pastor, right? I mean, that's the way it is.
I have been for 24 years, and then I have worked with him in this arena. First administration, I was advisor of Faith and Opportunity Initiative. This time, President took it to an entirely new level. Yep. It's a newly historic, never happened before, created the White House Faith Office, and I'm senior advisor for him. I think we got our 7th. We have 7 EOP, which is Executive Office of the President's staff in the White House. That's big for a newly created office.
Sure.
Brief the President on things. We have 8 different initiatives. I mean, what we're doing has just been historic and really bringing forth true transformation.
Well, it is a return, like we saw in Holy Week here, a return to Easter. People like Franklin Graham, yourself, others collecting there, spreading words of faith and Christianity and so forth. And, of course, the initiatives by Pam Bondi to go after anti-Christian bias in this country. It is a complete transformation from where we've been the last 4 years, isn't it?
Absolutely. Let's talk about Holy Week, then go into yesterday, one of the most remarkable things that President's done. Holy Week, start with the proclamation. People can go to the whitehouse.gov and get that. That's an official proclamation. And President says, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who died for our sins, rose from the dead. He preaches the gospel.
Right.
And then he goes into not only that, but we're protecting our military, our schools, our most vulnerable, making sure that there is religious liberty. And at the end, he goes into Holy Spirit, invoking the Holy Spirit, God the Holy Spirit, to cover this nation, cover this world, and basically bring forth a revival.
Sure.
Then he goes into the next day, he does a prayer and a statement, and then he goes into a video, and then we do the Easter dinner with 30 pastors that are there.
And I hear it was spectacular.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then he comes out with a ton of new initiatives from that. Then the next day, right over here, we do a worship, and we didn't know how many to expect for the White House staff. It was packed. People were in the hallways. They were everywhere. That was Pastor Greg Glory, Pastor Jensen Franklin, Reverend Franklin Graham, myself, others. It goes on and on. We saw God, and then, of course, he continued.
Absolutely.
We had a Passover dinner, too.
Yeah.
So,
now, I want to ask you something important here, because this, I think, is important because, and I'll be as polite as I can about this, the critics, the jackals on the left or wherever, oh, he's not a Christian, Donald Trump is this, and Donald Trump is that, and he's a horrible human being, and you see it all the time. It's on social media, it's in mass publications, it's on some of the mainstream media. You see this kind of message. You know better.
absolutely.
You've seen the man for 24 years up
Absolutely.
close, long before he ran for president.
Absolutely.
It's not true, is it?
He's 100% a Christian, but let's not talk about even that. I mean, it's so crazy to me. Let's talk about what God thinks about people who judge like that.
Yeah.
First off, the Bible is real serious about it. With the same measure that you judge, it'll be judged back to you. And if you
Lest
don't,
you be judged.
yeah,
Right.
And if you don't pardon others' sin, God won't pardon ours. That's some heavy words. But think about the woman who's caught in the middle of adultery. And they're saying, and she's guilty. She's guilty. And they pull her out. I always wonder why they didn't pull the man out, too. But they pull
enough.
her out.
Question for another day.
Exactly. They pull her out. And basically like, hey, you who is without sin cast the first stone, and every one of them laid their stone down. I just think it's so hypocritical and probably projection when everyone who doesn't even know someone, has never been in private with them probably, makes all this judgment off of sound bites of people who hate, and the hate just spreads.
Often manipulated sound bites, by the way, taken out of
100%.
context and changed. We saw that in Charlottesville and
they do
elsewhere
it.
time and time again.
They do it to the president. They do it to his cabinet members. They do it to
you.
me. I'm like,
Yeah,
so, you know.
you're not immune.
It's like, no, not at all. And it's just, I mean, it's part of it. Look, if you are going to stand in this position, you're standing with some broad shoulders, some thick skin.
Take
and
those slings and arrows.
Yeah, you know, look, and they can throw stones all day and say what they want. The worst that he's had to go through, in my opinion, the lawfare they put him through, but the attempted assassination, this is serious.
Tell me about that day for you. We've got just take a moment. Tell me about July 13th, 2024. Where were you?
I was in Atlanta. Ralph and Joanne Reed were coming. My husband, who plays for Journey, wrote most of the great songs, was getting ready to perform. I'll get choked up now. My kids and grandkids were there. And Joanne was coming back to meet me, bringing Ralph, and she goes, the president's been shot. And I thought, my mind didn't go. I just couldn't even imagine that.
Right.
And I was like, I said, what do you mean? I said, President Biden's been shot. She is Trump. And I dropped everything. I ran into a room to try to get a television on immediately to see. And, of course, I started calling people around him. That's my friend. That's someone who's very close to our family. And so to go through that moment, all I want to know, is he okay? And the irony of that is every tragedy or everything I've gone through, he's like, are you okay, Paula? Are you okay?
Yes,
You know, he'll ask me, and I just want to know, is he okay? And once I knew that he was not dead,
Right.
you know, we just immediately were in prayer, and I was weeping. I was very still to think, you know, I just thank God for his mercy and for his grace and for all that he's done. But it was a very difficult time to think of that kind of evil manifested to try to take the life of not only our greatest president, but a dear friend to myself and our family.
And he rose above that, though.
Yes,
Obviously,
he did.
rose
Thank
above
God.
that. He returned to the White House. He returned Easter
Yes.
and Holy Week to the White House. Let me
Yes.
ask you about one other couple of things here. We saw a migration. I was talking to your colleague Jenny Korn here about this a minute ago. An exodus from the churches and the houses of worship during COVID. There seems to be a migration back now. It took a bit, but there seems to be a migration back. Do you think some of that has to do with the attitude of Donald Trump, of yourself, of Franklin Graham, of people that are stepping up and saying, look, we need to get back to worship?
Undoubtedly. God is moving mightily, and what's so exciting to me, especially among young people and men. Men are the fastest returning to church.
See what she's saying there? Again, men. We need more fathers, more husbands, more real men.
Absolutely. You know, they are becoming the bedrock, which is how God designed it.
Has to be that way.
100%. And it's so crazy because people will...
But real men that stand up for their wives, for their families, for their churches, for their communities.
Steve,
That's
preach.
it.
There, you're preaching because God has an order. Now, God, in his grace, look, the head of my household is my husband, Jonathan Cain, period. And we have a loving, amazing relationship. But if there's ever a time that a decision has to be made and we don't agree on something, he's the head. It's not hard to submit. People were like, well, how could you have pastored, or how could you have done this and stuff? By default, because 2 men failed, and I was sent under spiritual authority to carry a load, which is very hard. Because at heart, I'm an evangelist. I'm an evangelist.
Right.
I'm a Bible teacher. I'm an evangelist. My son is now the pastor. People think I'm up here pastoring, and I'm up here working on the initiatives for President Trump, who's been in ministry for 40 years and understands it. But I am so excited about the move of God, and undoubtedly Bible sales up 22%, people returning to church, and men
A migration
converting.
back to faith. Men.
I'm so excited about
I say
this.
that all the time on this program. We need more fathers, more leaders,
Keep saying
more
it,
community
Steve.
leaders, more men that are real men. Toxic masculinity, throw that term out the window. Be a man, step
Absolutely.
up and be somebody. Paula White, Senior Advisor.
Yes,
President
sir.
Donald Trump, part of the brand new White House Faith Office. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank
It's
you
such
so
an
much.
honor. Be
Thank
blessed.
you. Greatly appreciate it. You ever wake up and look at the markets or look at someone going, why didn't I listen to that guy? Why did I not listen to that guy? That's why I feel when Tom Colson comes on from Liberty Coin Service, because I'm like, he told me a while back, he goes, if gold breaks $3,000, it could easily go to 3,500. Well, we're sitting at 3,400 and change right now. Tom Colson, Liberty Coin Service in Michigan with me now. It's a national company, though. You can find them online, Liberty Coin Service. Look them up. Tom, well, you said if it broke 3,000 here not too long ago, it could easily make 3,500. Looks like the smart money was on you, and I stayed out, and I should not have. But it's really roaring, this gold, isn't it?
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely been a crazy run. It's interesting to say the least. I thought there was a pretty good chance we'd hit 3,500, and we're getting very close to that once we broke that 3,000 number. Even further back, once it broke that 2070 number, it looked like the measured move might take it up to around 3,500. So this is kind of, I think, what's been in the offing over the last couple of years. Now, if you asked me 5 years ago what this would have happened, I would never have guessed it.
I'm going to ask you this. Where does it go from here? And remember, folks, past performance, no indication of future results, and he's not giving you advice. He's just speculating. What do you think, Tom?
There's so much uncertainty here. It's hard to say. Like I said, I think the measured move brings it to 3,500 or really close. So I think we're getting there. I'm starting to see a few more indicators that make me think this is a little bit more of a peaky market. So we could see a little bit of a pullback after a while. My biggest fear is if we do keep going, that I think is bad. I think if we get to 4,000, which is certainly a possibility, I think it goes parabolic at that point.
And what does that mean?
That wouldn't be good for the U.S. dollar for sure. That's an indicator that we'd be on the cusp, I think, of hyperinflation. So it's a move I don't know that I'd want to see.
Yeah, $4,000, scary, unless you own 1,000, blocks of gold, I suppose. What do you think the chances of that are? I mean, I don't mean to be here doom and gloom, but if it goes to $4,000, we're all in real trouble, is what you're saying.
That's my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it just holds there. Maybe it stays in the 3,000s for a while, but I feel like it's a slippery slope right now, and it just feels like if it got to that point that it would start going out of control.
Yeah, and if gold went out of control, that means inflation's out of control, right?
That, or just that the U.S. dollar is in really, really, really bad shape.
What do you think the dollar's condition is today?
We've seen a lot of weakness over the last couple of weeks. I've definitely noticed it in the foreign exchange that we've been selling. It's jumped up pretty dramatically in a lot of countries. So it's not looking great right now. I don't know if that's just a temporary glitch or if it's going to keep going. But the indicators are that things look pretty weak for the dollar, I'd say, at this point.
All right. We're going to look at a dollar here. From Dee Dee in Georgia comes coin number 1. Thank you, Dee Dee. I greatly appreciate you sending this in. Tom, let's take a look at this. Coin number 1 from Dee Dee. And I've seen these, lots of these. What do you make of it?
Yeah, that's a 1976 Eisenhower dollar. It's the Type 2 version with the cleaned up reverse. They had 2 different types of lettering for the 1976 dollars. The thicker style they used throughout 1975, and then in 1976 they changed to kind of the thinner lettering. So that's one of the later types. A little bit circulated, nothing too unusual about it. That's a coin that I sell retail for around $1.50.
Pretty standard. Nothing too expensive there. All right, so my next coin is something that really grabs my attention. I bought a couple similar things from you, Tom. You might recall, because I find these just to be, I don't know, it's like a piece of history. Who held this coin? Where did this coin come from? This comes, by the way, from Larry in the state of Maine. It's a Roman coin, he thinks. What do you think?
Well, I would agree it is a Roman coin. That's Roman bronze of Constantine the Great, who reigned from 307 to 337 AD. Of course, a very significant emperor in Roman history and the one that brought Christianity to Rome. The reverse type looks like it might be Soul or Genius. And maybe I can't quite make out the legends there. Usually you can tell where it was made, but in this instance I can't quite tell because it's a little bit fuzzy. Roman bronzes of this area are fairly common. So it's not super valuable, but it's something that might retail for $20, $25, and just a cool piece of history. I mean,
It is a cool piece. For $25, you can put this on your shelf. It's a great conversation starter. Your kids can look at it. Your grandkids can look at it. I mean, that's why it's so interesting. It's fascinating to me, this Roman coin, and there's a lot. I mean, some are going to be more expensive than this one, but this one's pretty interesting and stuff you can pick up. The next coin here, pretty common. This comes from Jan in Missouri. I'm not sure why Jan sent me a 1974 quarter, but hey, I was around in 1974. Tom, you probably were too. What is it? What is it?
It was a pretty good year for me, as I recall. I was pretty young, but still enjoyed it. Yeah, it looks like a 1974 quarter. Doesn't look any too unusual. I would say that's a coin that's just still worth a quarter. There's a lot of people that seem to be thinking that if it doesn't have a mint mark, that it's more valuable, but that's not necessarily the case. The Philadelphia Mint didn't start putting mint marks on their coins until 1980. So most coins before that don't have mint marks if they came from the Philadelphia Mint. And I've had that question come up quite often. So I don't know if that's something that maybe they thought it was more valuable because of that. But
There you go.
I would say that looks like a regular quarter to me.
And if you want to send in your coins, please do. Coins at stevegruber.com, just like Jan and Larry and Dee Dee did. And Tom will take his best shot at it. Remember, he's just a guess. You got to seek a professional. They got to hold it in their hands to give you a real estimate. But it's kind of fun. We enjoy it. Tom Colson, Liberty Coin Service, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Again, send the submissions, coins at stevegruber.com. We'll take a look. Tom will take a look, and we'll talk about it.